Welcome, Sojourners. You have found yourself a cozy place here at Sojourners Awake. I'm Jonathan, and this is our production of Tabletop Stories, where we tell stories and roll dice. In this special tryout game, we explore the imagination of Carol in an alternate universe where she is a young wizard playing in the world of Bonzaro, one of my own creations. It was an activity of imagination, an exercise of improvisation, and I think everything went really well. We only used one dice, a single d6, to resolve every single conflict within the story. Everything else was improvisation. I think everyone did a wonderful job. Enjoy part 2 of Adventures in Porto Mavia. Well, that's enough of an intro, and so for now, our story continues. You are now inside the city. You hear bustling and you hear voices. You hear animals calling out. Someone's butchering a pig in the corner. There's an urchin picking the pocket of some mobster who's had a little too much to drink. And Splash, of course, you know the direct route to the throne room, as it were, of the Great White. You also know that he is heavily guarded, and any kind of attack in his lair, any kind of like direct assault, usually gets met with some swift justice. However, while you're in this menagerie of a underworld city, you have a little time. Oh gosh. You have a little bit of time to move through here. We'll say you have one turn, as it were. What do you do? What do you pay attention to?
I'm watching that guy that came in with us.
Okay. Splash, you see that, like Junius had, he has a very nice fairy cloak underneath, and you see that he has something hidden under a cloak. He's got obvious con man vestments. He's got like really nice potions, front-loading all his very cheap items, but in his cart, he's got something covered up.
Alexa, stop.
Did it hear me?
Mm-mm.
Okay, wait, and someone is cooking a favored Indian dish in this market. Okay.
So good.
Splash, yes, you can see that he is obviously hiding something under his cart. Junius, what are you paying attention to in this busy market scene?
I'm scanning to see what looks out of place, if anything.
Yes. Something does look out of place. And you get a bonus, which means you've gained a great advantage in what is out of place, Junius. There is something that's out of place, something that doesn't belong here in this underbelly of the world, and it's going to help you. What is it?
Rowena, what do you see that's going to help you?
Someone like us.
I think at this point, the elf then puts his hand to his temple, Junius, and he enters into your thoughts and says, "We're not so different, you and I. Magicians, outcasts. I can quite clearly see that you have gained the art of disguise, but it is not of your own magic. Who else is practicing with you?"
And I just look at him and say nothing.
Okay. He smiles. Elves in my world are incredibly tall. They have large black eyes with constellation stars in their irises. Their eyeballs spread all the way to their temples. Their hair is high and black, will tighten a ponytail. His lithe body is very visible in this point, standing about a good 1.5 feet taller than everyone else. He then continues to push the cart towards the Great White. Rowena, what are you paying attention to? Hey! Oh, see, we'll get you to hop on in. Get comfortable, listen a bit, and I will actually call upon you in a minute.
Sorry to interrupt. I was like, oh, is it too late to just?
No.
I think I just was
Not
fine to
at
watch.
all.
Yeah,
And-
I just found out that this was going on, and I'm like, check the time. Oh, yikes! It's been an hour.
Perfect.
just happy to observe. Yeah.
Yeah. Observe for a little bit, but believe me, I'm going to call upon you just to kind of jump into the theater scene. We're basically playing a little game of improv. All right, Rowena, in this busy underbelly of the criminal world, lights flicker, everything's very dark, a great place to perform crimes and sins. Urchin picking the pocket of his drunk in the corner. The elf smiles at Junius and continues to push his cart. He's now removed his robe, completely revealing his fairy form as a magician. He moves on, and no one seems to mind, but it is quite the place to commit crimes and perform illegal acts. A magician such as yourself might actually be suspect, and yet you are disguised as a town guard. In this time, as you're on your way to the throne of the Great White, what are you paying attention to? How do you respond?
I know we're on a short leash time-wise. These costumes are these disguises are going to expire pretty quickly. We need to get out of the edge of crowd, so when we do change, we're out of sight. So I would like to be at the perimeter of this whole crowd and edge towards where the great guy is.
Rowena,
much time.
Yeah, Rowena takes the lead and moves everyone to a little bit of a crowded, empty tent. It seems like the owner has abandoned it temporarily, and there's like chickens hanging from the ceiling, and there's like little meat parts that are assembled in some kind of like meat jelly, and they're canned. And as you move into this tent, you're able to pull the curtain behind you, and would you believe it, Rowena, your disguise drops now.
Uh-huh.
Timing was impeccable.
Suddenly,
Rowena, you turn back into your young girl form as a wizard. Junius, the old crone, and Splash, you no longer look like a courtesan. And Stumpy is eyeballing you, grinning a little bit, and then when you turn back into your form, he just gets the shivers.
Stumpy is a dwarf with
what'd you say?
An arm that's been removed from his body 10 years ago, and he keeps pretending like it just happened. And I have put a dog collar on him because he owes me money, and he's promising to give Rowena access to the treasure.
And I'm Rowena, a young wizard who's working desperately to save myself and a loved one from this evil city, which costs a lot of money. And I'm 28 towards my 200.
And Splash, care to introduce yourself?
Oh, yeah, I'm a sewer nymph. So creature of the dark. What can I say?
And there is another person in this tent. They were hiding. And Sia, you were hiding for some unknown reason in the underbelly of this criminal city. And suddenly, these three characters, an old crone, appears before you, a young wizard, and Splash, a sea nymph, and they are dragging on a dog collar a young dwarf with a stump for an arm, and their disguises just magically drop and they revert to their true form right before your eyes. I would like to know how do you respond, and who would they see, if you don't mind?
Do I have to come up with like brand new character on the spot,
No,
or can I borrow a character from my previous D&D? Because
absolutely,
yeah, okay.
yes, please do.
So is is my character staying my age, or is it also kind of some sort of disguise drops, or? No,
your character is in true form. Yeah, you don't have a disguise.
Yeah, okay.
Unless you do.
No, so I guess you see dark-skinned tiefling who is
Tiefling?
Tiefling, that's right. I'll just borrow a character from my previous game. Sorry. He is crouching behind a crate. In one hand, he is holding a violin, which he's kind of trying to not damage. He's been peering into the tent, kind of trying to figure out what's going on. He's about 21 years old, and kind of as soon as he saw it, he's like, "Oh shit, this one!" So basically, in the face is just whoa, what's going on? Just I don't want to get into this trouble. Kind of trying to stealth.
So, Rowena, what you see is a young man with dark skin, but he probably has devil horns. Yeah,
Yes,
devil horns
like
coming out of his head, a sign that his family, his ancestors made some pact with the devil long time ago, and therefore his genetics have been sullied by Asmodeus, the Lord of the Nine. Not completely uncommon down here. I'm gonna say in the kingdom, the government, it is currently very outlawed to be a tiefling out in the open. Very scary to walk among the lightness of everyone else. And so tieflings traditionally have burger jobs, not entirely like peasant kind of jobs or criminal jobs. Please.
Also, you notice, like, as though he tried to hide, like a thick tail kind of slithering behind, and he is dressed in kind of simple clothes, but kind of tried to keep good care of them, but they've kind of been patched a lot, and like they look good and clean, but just like old, Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, what's your name?
Well, you don't know it yet.
Be something easier to
He's
say.
called
Yeah,
Russian.
like my character's name is Gabriel, so let's just go with that. Yeah.
Hey, Bill.
He has a true name he doesn't tell anybody because he's a tiefling. He has a tiefling name.
Yes. Splash looks at him and says, Gabriel, gosh, what are you doing hiding off in here? Good Lord.
You know him?
Yes, he plays music for me sometimes when I dance.
Okay. Stands up like, oh, hi.
Hey, I haven't seen you in forever. How's everything going? You doing okay? You still hanging out down here?
Sure. Remind me again where I saw you before. Which performance of mine did you see?
I didn't see the performance. I was in the performance. Do you not remember? 3 months ago, we both played for the Great White. Okay. You played, I danced. We were phenomenal. Many, many tips. Many, many tips. Do you not remember? Well, you were a little bit, I don't know, out of it.
Did you say tips?
So, Splash, how did you arrange this gig for the Great White?
I dance all the time. I mean, I'm fairly regular.
Does he schedule you?
Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes it's a booking. Sometimes it's just sort of ad hoc. It just depends, do I come into town? Do they know I'm in town? If they know I'm in town, they're Splash, come dance for us. And I will. And sometimes Gabriel plays and it's great. We have a great time.
So where do you perform? Where are you? Where are you when you perform for the Great White? Where are you when you do the performance?
Well, sometimes at private clubs and sometimes at his place. That's usually for high-end gatherings where he's just got the real important people there, like his inner circle. Sometimes I'll get to dance at one of those. Okay, I'm not usually the headliner under those circumstances, but I do get to dance.
So what do you remember about when you play for the high thing for him? What's it like? Where is it where is it here? Where is it central?
It's in his headquarters, and he's got a big central banquet hall. And a lot of times they'll eat and they'll all get fallen down drunk and just really, really, really. And that's when you get the most money is when they're falling down drunk because it's easy, like they try to grope you, but it's easy to get away, but you make it look like they're really doing a good job and that you're really falling for it. You get lots of money then.
Oh my God, I've always wanted to get to one of those gatherings.
Get to hang with me, guys. Hang with me. Boy, I'll get you into all kinds of good places.
Oh, I'd love it. Yes, let's.
Phineas, what can we do with this?
Green Toadstool next week. Okay, you available?
Yes.
Okay,
I'll be there.
Next week, Green Toadstool. But meanwhile, we got to get these people in. They got stuff to do. I mean, Stumpy here said that Jasper's treasure is somewhere up in the Great White's place, but he hasn't been near it.
Once again, I don't know if his name is Jasper, and honestly, Splash, you probably shouldn't be saying his name like it's so cavalier right now. I'm sure we're being watched and everything. Gabriel was like hiding out in the shadows. We gotta be careful if we're gonna get close to the Great White.
Okay.
He doesn't like familiarity, you know that.
Oh, no, he definitely doesn't like familiarity. He likes to keep everybody at a distance,
Why are you in a chain thingy?
Well, I'm leading the way for Miss Junius here, and because well, we're working out a deal.
Well, if that deal
Owes me money.
can take some music, I'm in.
He owes me money, and he's trying to be all sketchy about it.
Well, and because I'm leading you to the Great White's banquet room, and we can definitely access the money there. Not really
So
sure if
you
it's
say,
Wait, so this gig that you said, did you actually get invited by this Great White to dance, or are you just inviting yourself?
Oh no, I've never been invited to dance. Oh, are you talking to?
But Splash has.
I was asking the dancer.
Oh,
I'm sure your ability to dance is stupendous.
I used to play the piano.
Well, perhaps you could play a duet if they have a piano at the, at the hall.
Well, I can only play left-hand songs now, so
Well, luckily I have a tail. I can press the notes.
you could be good for heart and soul. Dun 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 dun.
Like this?
Yeah, yeah, there you go.
Be quiet.
Oh, shit.
Dang it, I like you guys already.
Rowena, you sense time is pressing. You know your loved one needs to be excavated from the city as soon as possible. Everyone's charming here. People like Gabriel and Splash, and possibly even Junius, seem to be very familiar down here. Yet it's the first time you've been in the criminal underbelly. How do you proceed?
I'm wondering if there's some way we can have a show. If somehow, I know you've been invited, but it would be so much easier if Splash was at a show and we were actually invited to come into his presence. Can we get an invite?
our elf friend may be able to arrange that. He's quite good at getting into people's minds.
Yes, I am, Junius. Did you need something?
Yeah, I think we'd like an invitation to perform.
Well, I'm not in your mind, Rowena. At least not yet.
How about the Great Whites
You would like an invitation to the Great White.
to perform?
Well, typically this
I can
can
speak
be
to
a...
some people, maybe. Maybe I can
Well,
ask around.
Before you do that, I was wondering if you might be willing to share with us what you have in your cart.
Huh. A gift for the Great White, of course.
Are you
Indeed.
gonna blow him up? Are you gonna blow him up? Are
Well,
you?
I'm going to create a distraction. It's not gold I want, something else. But this is my ticket for distraction and retribution for what he's done. Once I have what I need, I will be gone.
Sorry, because I joined mid-game, so Game Master, you are playing the dwarf, right? As the one who is on the...
Right, the
chain?
dwarf is attached to Junius.
But the elf
Yep.
is in the corner right now.
Oh, so
speaking in your
Wait,
mind.
so there's another person that I didn't see.
Absolutely. You do not see him at all. He is off in the corner pretending to purchase a potion, but secretly communicating with Junius via mind message.
Well, so I don't see this at all, so I don't know this happening. Okay.
Exactly. It seems our paths align. If your skinny little slimy friend wants to dance around, that's fine with me. If you want to,
And now we've got added music, and maybe we can have some magic tricks too. I don't know. I'll definitely not a song dance girl, but I can do magic.
At this point, Veritas is my name. He approaches you in the tent. The butcher will be back soon. I suggest you leave his tent unless you want to be accused of shoplifting. He pats his cart. Shall we proceed?
We should.
Rowena. Okay. How does this proceed? How do you respond?
You know, 5 is a pretty big group to be moving incognito, but we actually need that invitation. So what's your name? Game Master, what's the elf's name?
Veritas.
Veritas. Oh, how ironic. So, so can we, Veritas, can you arrange a performance date for us? Like soon, like today.
Can I? Will you convince me is more like the question. Since you are so charming, Rowena, as we previously established before, you can roll 2 dice and take the better of the number. Are you charming enough to convince Veritas?
Oh, Veritas. There's 6 and 5.
That is a no. You see, Rowena, I don't have any standing here. I'm not exactly welcome, and if I were to make a bold appearance before the Great White, even asking for an invitation, it would be highly suspicious. Let's just say I'm not the right man for the job, but I can pull the trigger.
Oh. In what way?
I will give you the distraction you need in order to get whatever money you require. Like I said, I am here on a mission. I will set off my bomb, I will take what I need, and leave.
I've already talked about bombs. They draw more attention than they actually create.
Well,
So,
that is my point. I'm here to draw attention to something.
to what?
The bomb.
And then,
Well, that's my business.
oh, Veritas.
Rowena. You see, long before you learned magic, the Elethrian elves freed your people from bondage and slavery from the giants. And times have not been great for our people. We are waning in population. And people like the Great White only make times for the elves very miserable.
So you're just going for straight out payback.
Yes. It's not the best moral an elf could choose, but nevertheless, here we are.
Well, the end game's kind of short.
Okay, roll again, Rowena. Just 1 dice.
It's a 5. No, I still haven't persuaded him.
I'm going to say no. I'm going to give you a modifier. It's going to be a no. However, a bonus happens. Something you did not expect that's a benefit to this situation. Anyone can speak up, by the way. He basically is not convinced, but there's a benefit to this situation in him choosing to put the bomb, still to pursue his plan.
Okay. Game Master, what's our benefit?
I will think of it as soon as my extroverted intuition kicks on.
Oh, you mean sometimes the tap is slow for you too?
Yeah.
We'll do a little shuffle over here in the corner while I let it emerge.
Something.
Quick
What?
question.
No, go ahead, Sam.
Just again, is the elf? He's actually visible now with the shopping
Yes.
cart full of bomb,
Yes, yes.
Him with his shopping cart full of bomb.
and he's been speaking like this the whole time, like basically to Rowena. Yes.
Yeah, he's in the flesh.
Relevance.
Yeah, he's
oh
visible.
my god.
Yeah.
Yeah, because dude's got a bomb in the cart, and Splash saw it earlier as well. And she'll offer him, you know, if you set off your bomb by the kitchen, I think you'll get a lot of attention right there, because that's where Blowfart stores a lot of his particularly volatile compounds that he collects.
Inside information.
Okay, yeah, he farts in jars and he stores it next to the kitchen, and everybody says don't do that, but he does anyway. But hey, sometimes when he does that, I have to admit, they have used these things to advantage, because you can throw a jar of Blowfart fart and it will take down an entire room full of people, and you can just incapacitate them, because that shit's poisonous. Okay, so if you set your bomb off there, I think it'll explode all of them, and you'll get a hole blown into the entire side of the building.
He then sighed.
And a quick evacuation of everybody.
Oh yeah, everybody's going to get the heck out. And if we are, Gabriel and I are doing a little bit of show over on the other side of the way, nobody will ever notice you set your bomb off. You make scares. And these two, Junius and Rowena, while we're going, something blew up. You two can run in with Stumpy and get what you need.
What do you think, Junius? You up for it?
Okay.
That's the spirit.
He then sighs and he pulls back the canvas.
The Great Witch.
He pulls back the canvas and he reveals his bomb is actually a glass bottle of blow farts farts.
No!
Oh!
Oh!
No.
Chain reaction.
Okay. I see your point.
A little more
I
firepower.
will not ignite it. I will simply release it. I can do so near the kitchen, or I can do in the banquet room, at your discretion. But I need
banquet room. Maybe we can grab some food as we. Anyway.
this.
Never mind.
This is why I decline to work with people. But since Junius saw me, I knew I could not be unseen. So I will concede to work with you, even though it is not in my best interest. I will cooperate. And as I can see, you are headstrong in that you have your own mission, be it something as base as coin. We will find it out. We will get it done. We will work together. We will participate. And out of the goodness of all elven kind, Rowena, I will concede to you as to how best we should proceed for the banquet room in which the Great White is present. For I know this. It is just right down the door. So,
Veritas, what is your quarrel with the Great White?
do we really have time for this, Junius? We do not. Fine. You see, he has a way of corrupting even the most purest of elven minds. Now, I understand, forgive me, but the humankind is prone to slavery, prone to oppression, prone to needing a high authority of power. With elves, we answer to our goddess and our goddess alone. There is no hierarchical structure. It's completely egalitarian. And so I understand the propensity towards corruption for the humans. But to take an elf and to turn him into some baseless servant, this is what the Great White has done. And
So you're trying
extinguished...
to get someone out of there?
No, I'm trying to pay him back for the ones that he has already sacrificed in the name of criminal uprisings against this useless government. He has poisoned their minds, they have given their lives and shortened their lives into bloodshed, and I am here to take a single finger from his hand.
That works for me. Let's go.
I see
Indeed.
you have likewise deep contempt for humankind for treating you as different when you touches the tail. Cannot help yourself. You are what you are, and they treat you like dirt because you are different.
Well, and his pride is insulted at this point. He looks at you, Gabriel. But that's the thing. I am not... We are not dirt. You're stars. And my family moved us here to save humankind, as goes the story, and yet here we are, scraping around in the underbelly, cutting off fingers of mobsters so we can perform some witchcraft to keep them in check. It's not exactly the high point of our species.
I see.
Gosh. What?
That is the best. That is the absolute best ever. Oh, hell yes, I am in. You sure you just need a finger?
He looks down at you, Splash, and he actually cracks a smile. My dear nymph, can we please just proceed with this god-awful plan?
I'm pretty sure Splash will go for a few more digits for you.
No, I don't think that's what Splash is going for.
Oh, that's a digit.
The music begins to play. You hear the banquet starting up. The fires light up around the banquet hall. The doorway into the banquet hall of the Great White is now feasting. There is food, there is abundance, there is many courtesans, there are dancers, there are music, there are guards that are trying their best to keep up a stately watch, yet tempted by imbibements and intoxications and potions being passed along with each other. This is the seediest place. Music blares loud, you can barely hear your own thoughts. A shudder goes down Veritas's spine, and Stumpy begins to dance in place. Rowena, how do you proceed?
Hey, Master. What's the name of the guy again?
Veritas? Or
Nope, the Great White.
Great White. It's the name
Great
of the
White?
monster. Yeah.
Yeah. So, why does he not like elves? What's his beef with elves?
What you gathered from Veritas is that the shame of the elves is being reduced to simply a criminal that participates in toxins and lechery and the basest of human vices. People like the Great White somehow convince even the most pure beings, such as elves, to participate in this lifestyle, only to die a short and miserable bloody death, rather than to ascend into stardust.
So he enjoys corrupting people.
Absolutely.
Oh. Okay. Well, let's see. The show. Let's see. Our plan was the show, a side distraction. Veritas is in because he needs payback. Yeah, really, a finger's not enough. Let's see. How do we proceed? We still need to make sure that who has seen the treasure? Are we going to head in the right direction when the show is going?
You don't know where the treasure's at. It's just on the word of Stumpy that the treasure is somewhere in the banquet hall.
I'd like to find it. I'd like to know where that treasure is.
You cannot know. You are outside the banquet hall.
Yeah, we're in the banquet hall. Well, we've got to move in, and Veritas is headed his way to the kitchen. So our clock is starting to tick. How we're going to act in a moment.
And how do you act in that moment?
We approach the Great White with a performance. We have 2 players.
All right. You walk right up to you walk right up to the throne room, and I'm assuming the rest of you lead. Veritas is kind of keeping a little bit step back. Stumpy has already knocked back a few shots already. The Great White holds up a finger. You see him, this large, hairy, portly man with a large black beard and a glass eye.
Splash.
He holds up his hand and says, I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. We have guests who would have the audacity to approach the great throne of the Great White. There's a little murmur and chuckle and jester laughing. There's a goblin in the corner just mocking you, just like bowing melodramatically before the Great White. Now you have something to offer me. You have something of great value because my time and the time of my esteemed guests is of great value. So for you to move forward and break up the party, you had better have brought something incredible. All my expectations are peaked. And you see, as he eyeballs each of you, I need each of you to roll a d6. On a 6, you suffer distress, for he is indeed an evil presence. Junius, I'm going to roll for you. That's okay. A 2. Junius, you are not phased.
I have my own dice. That's all right.
Gabriel, all right. Splash.
Oh, a 6, man.
Ooh, okay.
Straight up 6. Nothing like failure. Failure makes the game.
You are distressed. All right, Gabriel, you're not phased. Rowena?
A 6 also. No end.
Nice. Okay. When you see the Great White, how do you respond in distress? Splash. Mechanically, you're unable to take a turn, leaving it up to your allies.
Yeah, I got ready to do my best flourish, and I caught a cramp right in my backside. And it's like, oh, and I'm trying to rub out the cramp and look seductive at the same time.
Rubby then takes his stump and he's just like rubbing your back. He's like, "Cool, it's okay, Splash. It's okay. I got you.
Oh, gosh. Ow.
You may rub some cream in it."
No, that's cheese whiz. Quit.
Cheese. Oh, he's like, Close his mouth. Rowena, you are unable to take a turn because of your distress. What is it?
I break out in tears.
I'm sorry. We have a wizard among our midst. And she pays me with tears. He begins to clap, and you see the goblin in the corner. Boo-hoo, boo-hoo. Gabriel and Junius, you see that the entire crowd is now mocking Rowena. They're very pleased. The Great White has just realized he's caught himself a greenhorn in his midst, and he is ready to make sport. Splash is spazzing out in the corner, Stumpy trying to rub Cheese Whiz on her back. At least it looks like Cheese Whiz. Junius, Gabriel, you are able to take a turn, and you are not distressed. How do you respond?
Gabriel will try to string up the saddest ballad he has ever heard, like to make everybody cry.
Ooh, Gabriel, I like it. Do you sway the crowd? Roll a d6. And we're going to ask the Oracle. You're going for a low number.
I rolled a 5.
5. That is a straight no. I'm going to give you a modifier, though. No. But it creates a solution for you. It fixes one problem. What problem does your sad ballad fix?
Gee, what was the problem? Okay.
Any of the problems I've generated quite a few problems in your midst right now. Anybody can any it. Come on.
Maybe somebody help me out.
Need time to finish rubbing my cramp out.
Splash, I think I got it. Like a splash as you're like rubbing your cramp, all of a sudden like Stumpy just like, whoa, I like this. This is good music. And his voice like drops to a sultry, and like you feel like the heat in his back, in his stump, just like rubbing your back, and it actually like massages, and you feel strengthened. You feel like super sensual, and like everything you roll now will be an advantage. As you suddenly like come back to life, this really melancholy music just like really ramps you up. Junius.
But she's back in the show.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, I have something for you, my lord. I knew I would be seeing you, and I brought you this gift. And I pull out the most beautiful decanter with the most rare brandy from across the mountains and over the sea. And what he does not know is that there is a truth serum in the brandy.
Oh, Jenny.
And I pour it for him, and he gladly accepts because I am quite obsequious with him. And I am bowing before him and saying, I have joined this group because I knew it would lead me to you, and I have been waiting to meet you. And I have this gift for you. May I please pour it for you? And I have taken an antidote beforehand, which I have not told anyone. I'm just telling Game Master and participants. I have taken the antidote already. So I take the first glass and drink it so he knows it's not poison. And he drinks the entire bottle right in front of all of us. And he is now obligated to tell the truth.
Okay. Junius, the old crone, like steps in and steals the show. Everyone goes quiet. The goblin just eyeballs the Great White. The Great White, once he sees your lips partake of this drink, he gruffly, you can smell the ammonia, the stench of his body as you draw close. He guzzles it down without breaking eye contact. He wipes it from his lips. And Rowena, you are now able to take your turn. Splash, y'all have lost your distress. What happens next?
I watch his eyes for that look of when a person is completely open. And I ask him, where does he keep his treasure?
My treasure? Where do I keep my treasure?
He like grabs a decanter, throws it at the goblin, smashes it against the goblin. The goblin lies on the ground bleeding.
My treasure is the power I have over every single person in this room. I revel in the authority to corrupt and destroy and to do what I want.
I see that is a great treasure. So you also have coin. Where do you store your coin?
Oh, it's in the back right there, in that room.
Sorry. The Great White then like claps his hands a little bit. He says,
I love being evil.
And that's when Splash looks at Gabriel and she says, "Hit it!" And Gabriel starts it up, and Splash begins to sing, "Sweet Caroline," and the whole room goes, "Bah, bah, bah," and nobody's paying any attention to anything else that goes on because she is channeling her siren powers now. Because hey, sea nymph, water nymph, sewer nymph, and she is absolutely captivating the entire room with Sweet Caroline because nobody can resist.
Now is a really good time to put on a spell of invisibility, and Junius and I are going to take off, and because it's a lot of money, we should take as much as we can, and we're headed for the door, and we're going to go get some of the treasures. And she basically said it's right there. So,
Stumpy's like dancing with Splash, and then as Junius leaves, he gets like caught and gets drug across the room.
So Junius and I are under the cloak where we're invisible, and we go to the room, we open up the room. You know, it's strange that he left it unlocked, but that's my story. It's unlocked, and Junius, with her many folds of clothing, has a pouch in there somewhere, and we load it up with all of the coins. So I bring up to my 200 and some for all my fellow travelers. Surely there's enough to get Gabriel passage out to where he wants to be. Let's include him too. So happy ending for everybody.
Indeed, you buy enough tickets out of this corrupt city for everyone in your stead. And on the way out, Rowena, you notice that Veritas is itemless. He carries nothing in his hand. And he walks with a sullen gaze.
Veritas, what happened to your bomb?
I did not release it.
Veritas.
As disgusting and violent as it is, it brought a strange feeling to my heart to see Splash dancing. I think you call it glee or joy is what it's called. Are you familiar with that emotion?
Yes, Veritas, and you couldn't be the last man standing without be your true self. Well done.
Well, after that little tirade from the Great White, I didn't do it. I must confess to you. It would only lower me to the vice at which he corrupted as well. And if the gods and Elethria herself wants to take care of the Great White, that is her problem. But it is mine to remain as virtuous as possible amongst this world until my time is over. And for that I thank you, for you drew the truth out of him, and in some way I think you drew the truth out of me. So, I humbly thank you, my fellow human.
We are honored to have you with us.
Oh, I'm not staying with you.
Oh, really? Where are you going now?
I will return to the Elethrian forest, of course, and I will be studying there for quite some time, reconvene with my kin, and hopefully spawn a progeny.
Good. I hope you have many.
Oh, one's enough. Thank you. And so for now, our story concludes. Well done, everybody.
Oh, thank you all.
That's awesome. Every story comes to an ending, so for now, we must conclude. Thank you for listening, Sojourners. Your attention will not go unrewarded. And we looked forward to continuing this adventure, but alas, that is the end of part 2, and therefore concludes the adventures of Porto Mavia, in which Carol decided to imagine what her life would be like if she were a wizard in Bonzaro. You can learn more about the wonderful world of Bonzaro at www.sojournersawake.com. It is my world of imagination and fantasy and magic. Background music and ambiance provided by Tabletop Audio. Find them at www.tabletopaudio.com. And thank you to all the students at Personality Hacker for participating in this wonderful improvisational exercise. You can learn more about your personality type at www.personalityhacker.com. Take the test and find out today. But however you choose to sojourn with us, as always, may your story continue.